Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darksiders 3. So we've got a big tentacle monster of some sort, maybe not the same tentacle monster we've seen before. And then we have a horrific smell that we can't simulate in a video game, but they talked about it. And they talked about sloth. So I spent the last episode doing the void as a side quest. So now it will be questionable as to whether we just end up doing a full fight or if there's more to it than that. Like, obviously at some point we're going to get up to there, but I may just, in the gravity mode, jump in the water and start a fight. Yeah. I guess not immediately start a fight. We can see that the fourth hollow ability that obviously is going to let you jump between walls is there. I can see there's these floating mines, and it almost seems like I might die and then get the hollow ability later. So they're little magnetic mines, but you can just dash if you're in gravity mode. It definitely doesn't seem like there's much here. There's another one of those walls. If anything, the game just put the mines there so that you could see where to go as something bright. And we get these interesting little clips of audio. I'm not doing the best of jobs dodging here, but I wouldn't really say we're running into ever getting to hear a full song. And it feels a little difficult to know that this is the way to go. What's so weird about this game is how it seems to love to send you to different regions and also pretend like you're going one way and then all of a sudden you're going a different way. And once again, we totally see this because we are back in either the subway sewer section. Alright. The thing here, though, is now, for the first time, we have scatter, and while it won't tell us which of these things are enemies, it will potentially damage them first, and it potentially bounces to go and attack something else, so you can potentially get a twofer. Although, again, here's one of those areas. They seem to be consistently doing this where it's showing you a different area. And this is kind of like a grocery store layout, which we'd seen one little grocery store before. And obviously we'll find a shortcut that brings us back full circle to this. I don't know if it's really necessary to charge, but scatter charges fairly nicely anyways. By the time I even walk close enough to hit him, I'm charged up again. Goldburger rich taste. Right. We have one of these like underwater characters, I think, here. But scatter at best really is only doing like twice the amount of, or half the amount of damage as my blades of scorn. So it doesn't really work as well as other things. Maybe because I'm using the gravity mode here, I'm doing more damage. That's how the music kind of went quiet and then is back now to being less. Yeah. But that really goes to show that even like a 4 or 5 hit of shatter is not enough to kill one of these monsters. Where a 1 or 2 hit is enough to kill with the spawns of the blade of spawns. And you do have to be fairly far away for it to actually benefit you at all, because if you're even a little bit close, it will still shoot at you. I'm thinking I probably cannot get up there, nor can I hit something, and I'm thinking that this is going to be a shortcut. So we're going in a loop to go into a loop to go into a loop, it feels like, because there's a loop here, and maybe that loop in that shortcut is directly tied to this area. And yeah, it may also be directly tied. Well, you can almost see that if you had the 4th hollow ability, you could get up there, and then you could use the gravity ability to probably get up to that point. Alright. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to call this a bit of a false start, and I'm going to pause the recording, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So often, unfortunately so often, I start recording and then immediately realize I need to go to the bathroom, which is why I pre-record all of this footage, really. This is weird because it kind of is coming off like you're just opening up a pathway here for no good reason. There's nothing different in this pathway versus the other pathway. I guess they just wanted to be cutesy about it. And we're in the subways again, but a different part of the subways. We can see there's fairly large monsters. Noticeably though, I am trying to lock on it and it's so far away I can't even get the health bar. It's also so big I can't see the health bar. But they're not that big of a creature. Or that strong of an armored creature. If anything, this kind of feels like that dark room. It'd be interesting if it turned out this was the dark room, but now it's not dark. But I don't believe that's the case. We really are just going in circles here. I can't break these lights. So we're just seeing coral. And I guess the coral probably does imply that there's been some water in this area. I did say when we first saw the sewer section that it seemed like we might flood the whole area, and maybe we'll get back to that. But anything and everything is possible at this point. Yeah, I can't quite get high enough height, but I could potentially. I think I may need to push the yeah, my alternate weapon here, doing a decent amount of damage, but not massive amount of damage, and definitely not doing as much of a stun attack. I do believe we're probably never going to see the bug trick anymore, with the bugs eating the gel to become fire bombs or purple gravity bombs.
That small chamber. Switches. Might they guide the track?
If they do, we roll, unpleasant as it feels.
I guess she, as a horseman, does not enjoy the idea of riding a train. So I was thinking what we were going to do, I'm getting stuck on the trains, is that we would do an attack like that.
It's all in the wrist, watcher.
That gets me up to this area. I don't think there's anything else here. Except for this, which I just noticed. The nature of how this is designed is a little weird. I would say, like, it's not clear that there is a single path, so perhaps the edges should have been a different color, or just in general it should have just been a higher it should have just been a higher differential between the crystals on the edges and the base. Maybe the base should just be a dull color and not have crystals on it, but that also wouldn't make the most amount of sense. It does kind of fit in line with Fury, just not wanting to interact with anything human, not even touching the switches with her actual hands, and instead using magical power. Now, would there be a reason to send it back? I don't see really a reason. Plus, if I was to send it back, I'd probably need to move the switch again. And again, I got stuck. Let me get that little sound effect. Which I really wish that there was some music playing in the background. Let's check something here. Audio. Music. Is on. But very infrequently playing. Is that perhaps because, like previous Darksider games, the music engine, in whatever engine this game uses, crashes? Like, does it just crash all the time to the point where your music never really plays? Or is that because perhaps there actually just wasn't any music because this game is something that I assume was stuck in development hell in between the transition of being THQ and then Nordic Games, and then Nordic Games turning into THQ Nordic, and then Embracer Group being the parent company of THQ Nordic, and then at some point acquiring Gunfire Games as the actual developer of See, and that's like a great example of an enemy that would irritate you quite a bit just by throwing weapons at you, and you can't give as much as you get because your shatter weapon is just never actually going to be a weapon as much as it is just a system or an item used. Interesting, we went up to go down. Just to remind you that there are some overworld elements in this game. Although the overworld elements of this game have not been particularly much. Like, we have to point that out. So we now fixed a shortcut. If you include the sewers as an overworld element, then you could say that there's a relatively large section of overworld.
Did not think you could make worse. Miracles do still exist in this world. Putrid, filthy miracles.
Yeah, this really does not feel like the same monster that we fought before, but maybe it is. There definitely were parts in the first game where you weren't really ever able to get your defense up as much as you would like. And I'm feeling that again in this game. I'm taking a decent amount of damage. And maybe if I was using a weapon that was stealing health back, I could counter for that, but that's arguably maybe the only thing I could do. Just got another achievement. I wonder if that is perhaps an indication of just how many collectibles are left in the game. Yeah, at a certain point, if I did start to have the remaining, I'd say about 32 achievements collected, but there almost certainly is going to be an achievement for beating the games on different difficulties. So if there are 32 left for me to collect and 6 of those are around different difficulties, then there's barely like 28 left, and a lot of them could be around just collecting a certain number of angel artifacts, collecting the same number of demonic artifacts, picking up a certain number of shards, saving a certain number of humans. That seems like an unnecessary little shortcut. This is going to run back into the same problem, though, in which enemies are just going to be too big. And it's going to resolve to give us a cutscene of a fight, I think, more than an actual fight. Unless this monster can shrink itself in size. Or we're just going to defeat it in like one blow. Or all the fights are going to just become mental fights as much as anything else. So.
Perfectly fake.
Mistress, you must awaken. You must come back.
Nice try, but Lust already tried that. Gluttony.
Mistress!
They haven't been calling her wretch too much.
Your desire, horseman. It would have been more merciful than what I'll do to you.
If you can reach me.
So I guess the solution here is that we're just gonna fight one part of the monster.
Try your best, you bloated thing.
See, visually this lines up way more around gluttony than lust lined up around lust.
The easiest of all.
But I'm not yet full. You know I've tried. I've been feasting. But I'm still not satisfied.
And you pretty much can't turn gluttony into anything other than eating to excess. They turned down the screen there. That should have been a lot louder. Right. Long, stretchy arms. Part of the problem here, I think, is we're gonna have to figure out the right kinds of attacks to use. And now I have 5 charges on the respite, but I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of damage done here. And then he just straight up ate me. The glowing green here doesn't line up with anything. Like, I think that the main deal is probably to just move fast. And if you get too close, you can't hit him. And if he grabs you, he seems to just attack you. Um, Interesting, we only got halfway through with that, and then that opens the next section. Which is probably the better move here, is to fight on that angle. And that is going to require us to be in gravity mode, I think. Should I try to activate something here? Like, I could get a mine here to blow up, and maybe that's the idea, is to get the mine to swallow him. Get him to swallow a mine. Like, if I swim, though, if I go into swim mode, I can't attack. The only mode that can attack is here. So, am I supposed to just let him eat me? Like, we're... If we're trying to trigger him eating me... Yeah. I am confused, to say the least. No, he just eats you and he kills you. Completely. That's just an instant death. And that sucks, because there goes all my souls, and it doesn't set me up in a good position. Well, there wouldn't be anything you could buy here. Anyways, we could certainly try something like a strength shard, or fortification shard, or even a havoc shard, frenzy shard, thorn shard. Let's use a thorn shard. Come in here, start the fight again. Yeah, it does just kind of feel like potentially I just lost a ton of health there. Like a jump and attack. Is probably the right move. Yeah, and I don't know if that attack worked at all. It does just seem like you weirdly have more of a reach on your whip here than you normally would. What am I supposed to be learning from him sucking things in? Am I supposed to be learning anything at all? See, you can hit him when he's sucking things in. I'm still not really getting it. Maybe I'm supposed to just be throwing the blades in when he sucks things in. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that worked. Alright, so we've got the solution here. We just need to dodge for the second part of the fight until he starts to decide to suck in things again, which will probably take a little time. And I guess this means that the arcane format probably wouldn't work if I was to try to attack it. And it's pretty much on the nose as far as gluttony, eating himself to death. I wonder if I just have to get close enough to him to trigger it. Alright, come on. There we go. It's barely even making it into his mouth. Alright. And that's our point to press B. And then hit him in the face with our gravity axe. Stabbing him in the eye. And then doing the cool guy walk away without even looking. So they basically made it a cutscene after that first battle. And now we're gonna get, I assume, the fourth hollow.
There are so few surprises left in the world. Isn't that
Interesting how the texture is popped in
At the moment,
badly there.
I've had enough surprises. You sound odd. Is something wrong?
That's an odd sentence.
take this?
The stasis hollow. Why?
Question my gift.
I question your motives. Why does the Lord of Hollows continue to weaponize one of the Four Horsemen? For what purpose?
Remain on your path. In time, perhaps you will find your truth. That would be a fine surprise indeed.
And in
Sounds
the
like he's
meantime,
dying.
more toys for me to play with?
Horseman, in our next encounter, only one of us will survive.
Cryptic.
Hardly. You help me, then you threaten me?
Be gone.
I wish they would explain the eye on her chest a little bit more. If anything, it probably just implies that even though she looks somewhat humanoid, she's as much a monster as all the other characters that we run into. They definitely don't come off as ever actually having any real human in them. So we get the fourth hollow thing, which means we could go to the void and try and get all the collectibles there. We have a luminous visage. Press Y to perform a charged attack in the stasis hollow. Alright, let's start with a question. We know that there's collectibles up there, but I also know that there's a pathway this way. And so I would like to see where this goes. If the game will decide to cooperate. This feels like the place we've already been. Probably because it is the same place we've already been. Alright, good. But actually, it would, I guess, make some sense. This would really suck if I died here. Alright. Yeah, this area has respawned. And I think this is the wrong area to go to first. Now with the stasis hollow, you still are swimming. I'm about to die. I guess the lesson to take from this is probably they're looking one way. Press and hold near a wall to hold on to it, release, and then press again to bounce back and forth. Good to know. When we hit something with stasis, what would that really do? I guess the question we'll have to find out is if we hit something with one of these that has a monster in it, will it die or take more damage? Which is hard to tell. Or will it do something else? Yeah, seems like stasis probably does slow down enemies somewhat. These guys were really difficult to defeat at the beginning of the game, and they are now down to just being medium difficult to defeat. Alright. So, if I'm here and the other stasis thing is over there, it would lead me in that direction, which I think that's probably the direction they want us to go to, so I suspect this direction is the side path. So we're gonna walk through here and potentially just find a shortcut or a human. At least that's my hope. As long as we're finding more of these gem shards, or gem shard like items, then we at least know we haven't been in this area before. I wish you could kind of get out of the catch animation on scatter. There is still some stuff to learn, I think, though. Why can I not reach through that and grab that? Well, this definitely is telling me that we're gonna have to come back to this area. Are we going the right way towards the demon? Yes. So this was the right direction, which means it was the wrong direction. And I could have solved that problem fairly easily just by looking at the compass. Which inherently, my desire to have a item compass that would point you in a certain direction gets fairly undercut.
This is new.
Just
This is good.
by the fact that I don't pay attention to the things I see anyways. Like this whole compass has
You
been
seem distracted, mistress.
pointing in the same direction the whole
That
time.
Lord of Hollows is vexing.
That's one word for it.
Only one will survive. Do you think he's helped us this far only to betray me?
I'm sure I don't know. Relationships between the Eternal Ones are as confusing and convoluted as they come. I
Notice
can't
how the
keep
water
track.
freezes when you walk on
You're
it.
a great help.
Perhaps the
But
Lord
only
of
if
Hollows
it's
is attempting to manipulate you in some way.
Shallow
Rattle
water.
you. Or he's gone utterly insane like the rest of his stinking world. He wasn't looking his best, was he?
No, he certainly was not. Enough. Time to focus on the mission.
If you say so, mistress.
So you get another walk and talk where I suppose we're supposed to be walking through all of that area. So does the act of freezing the water actually help you any? I don't think it really does. Just gives you this kind of cool effect. With the Stasis Hollow equipped, you're able to walk on the surface of water. Oh, she is walking on the surface of water, isn't she? Well, I suppose that also explains maybe the poisonous water. But you have to jump out of the water.
I knew you were cold, but walking on water is a neat trick.
Well, storyline wise, this is the right way to go, I guess. So I should have gone the other way. Further, I guess. I don't even know. This game is so oddly cryptic around its level design. Like, why is that there? Why potentially let the player get to that? Maybe it was to see and give a hint to that. No, I'm stuck. Nothing down here to see. So the question is, can I go into fire mode after walking on water? And I can. Interesting. But then there's just a whole nother area over there on the side. Yeah, that is in part my concern around going to the void right now, is that there might be some gimmicks or tricks that we would want to learn a little bit more of. This guy's stuck too. Let's see. We'll just try and throw things at him, just to see how many times it takes. That was a lot. There's not really a lot to say but at the moment either. I'm just trying to find the right path in a world that seems to be full of multiple paths. And I seriously doubt that these characters are going to become more of a challenge. There might be an argument towards having a hard time locking on to them. If I defeated a bunch of them, maybe I would get some health, refill my health respites, but I'm not sure that's really necessary. Okay. The thing I want to ask is there anything else in this direction, or is this a straight path? Why are there so many flickering lights? Just to point you in different directions. I think you came that way and we're supposed to be guided this way, and now we're supposed to be guided this way. And because you can walk on water, you can now crouch down there. But this isn't going to work. I need to either flood this area or have some other ability. You can't just freeze waterfalls. And yeah, the game definitely was giving you the indication that you were going to be done with water stuff. So very odd, now we are not done with water stuff. Although at a certain level, I guess you can't be done with water stuff now. You have to engage in different ways with it. And then at a certain point, I guess the idea is also that they are trying their very best here to make the last two hollows be as used as much as the first hollow, and maybe the second hollow. The second hollow actually hasn't been used that much. And I don't think they want to get super repetitive and introduce extra versions of those pods. Well, I opened up a shortcut back this direction. Does that mean I should go back this direction, or did I just open up a shortcut? Because it didn't feel like we were done here. Yeah, there's a whole section here. And I would assume if I walk in the lava while in an ice mode, I might die. So let's not do that. You're walking very slowly when you walk in lava. So you should find a place where there's a convenient checkpoint and then use that convenient checkpoint to see what happens if you walk in lava while you're doing this. If anything, I think this probably is an indication that your stasis ability might work on lava, freezing it, turning it into hard rock. Otherwise, this is just an area that is an experiment on what the game would look like if they had a bunch of this happening. Yeah, I can't really jump. Alright, well, let's see what happens when we do this. So if you're in any hollow mode at all, you're fine. But if you're outside of your hollow mode, you will die in lava. Which at a certain point, that almost is an achievement in itself, to find a way to die. There's a problem now, though. I didn't make it back to a circular point here. I have no idea where I was. This is going to be rough. I also lost probably a good 20,000 souls, so there's a really good reason to go back and get it. Although dying also gives you the advantage of refilling your respite. Hi. it's not even really worth it to fight those kinds of characters. I needed it to have been in this mode. Swing here. Then jump up to that. To get there. This is not the collection of souls that I left. That was there already. Alright, we want to really hurry at this point.
What do you want? Please.
Save another human. We did get an upgraded reward for saving humans, and there's always something also for saving a human nearby, so even if you didn't care about saving the humans, you'd have to be a fairly cruel player to actively avoid saving them and just not press the B button when you're next to them. And it doesn't strategically benefit you to ignore them in any way. So yeah. Just gonna try and rush through this as fast as possible. At a certain point, yeah, anything and everything could pop up around you and attack you, so go back this way. This was a terrible death trap. But they don't do that to you very often. Alright. Alright. I don't think I need to go this way. Nope, that was a shortcut. I could have just taken that shortcut. Forgot about it. Yeah, definitely if we're running around the entire world, any shortcuts you've opened will be incredibly forgotten by the time you're running around the world a second time trying to get collectibles. This actually is not a terrible place to really go back to, though, because visually this will look different now that Gluttony's giant body is missing. Yeah, we're getting slivers of adamantium off of random kills, which at some point we might just have too many slivers of adamantium and think about even selling it. So with his body out of the way, it looks like you can pretty much just jump in the water, which I assume that's all you really can do. I'm being far too OCD for an area I've already been. Well, this may get me a little bit of currency. It's probably not going to get me a lot. I did miss something here, though. Alright. Where does this lead? Interesting.
Stay back!
Seems like there's a human in there that needs my help, whether they want it or not.
No more! No more!
I'm having a hard time finding the human.
Must die.
Yeah, I wonder if these chosen, if that's what these are, or if this is a different kind of monster to fight. I wonder if they are going to become the secondary characters that you have to fight in the game after the 7 Deadly Sins, or extra characters. So this character seems to like, let's see what happens if we knock down all of the things. Will that open up a path, or will that just drop the ceiling on him, or drop the ceiling on me, or do absolutely nothing? Seems like it did absolutely nothing. Let's see what a wrath attack does here. Seems to me like a wrath attack actively speeds up your attack or slows down the opponent's attack. Fortune enhancement. Enhancement is the right word, yeah. I get enchantment and enhancement backwards sometimes. Alright, so I guess the question here is Edge of Scorn now is our weapon, so let's equip that. And then don't have anything else to equip. And we don't seem like we really have the best system to tell what that enhancement actually does until we can upgrade it, which we'll definitely do later. I'm just waiting for my wrath to drain. It's taking forever. I can't get out of the mode until my wrath is drained. And unless there's some other secret of hitting these, or if doors at some point are going to open. It's very weird that they also released a side game like that's more of a top-down experience starring Strife so close to the release of this game, or really just kind of a couple months before the release of this game. I wonder if it might be a case where the levels are pretty much the same levels and the perspective is just shifted enough so that you wouldn't really recognize that that's what's going on. Like, that wouldn't be incredibly surprising if that was what happened. Right. So this was where the boss fight happened. And apparently you cannot jump down like that. Alright, maybe we can jump down from here. Okay. Now we came up that direction, so we know that we're either going that direction or that direction. I don't think there's anything this direction. Alright. So let's go this direction first. And anywhere we hear dialogue is an indication we're going possibly the wrong way. I guess it's somewhat beneficial to refill our wrath while we're here. I do think we're at a point where, for this being the third game in the Darksiders series, there probably needs to be more destructible environment objects, or maybe none at all. The series has been going on for so long. There is arguments for just like massive changes to be made. Alright. There we go. Okay. It clears out the bugs. Right. Come over here. Jump up to grab that. We came that way. Let's go this way. This creates another shortcut tunnel to a place we've never been. Or to a place we've been, I think, fairly frequently. Yeah, this is right next to the church, I think. Although I don't see the church. Maybe not. Yep. But yeah, this is definitely somewhere near, I think, the church. And that was a shortcut. We never actually got to this area because it was more just hovering across. You really have to ask what's the point of all of this, though, because I'm not sure that there really is a logical connection to connecting the whole world like this, other than perhaps they have this just desire to have us potentially walk in crisscrossing paths as a way of just kind of hiding the loops that we do normally, because we definitely are doing a lot of loops. The main thing I keep expecting to see though is a gate. And we're now back to this place. The hanging tree. And honestly, I think some of the water around the hanging tree has potentially been replaced with water instead of the green sludge. Alright. I almost need to fast travel. If I could just fast travel to a checkpoint, I probably would in this instance. Alright. Yeah, undoubtedly this is the level design that's the problem though. I wouldn't be getting anywhere as confused and turned around if they hadn't tried to interconnect these areas and had just opted for more of a linear experience. And it's not quite in line with what a Zelda game would have been at that time. So they're definitely doing things a little bit differently. Zelda games would have had much more bespoke, separated off temples that have an entrance and an exit, and then there would be a open world that is just not really connected to the temples in any other way. And for 3D games, it was almost necessary to still play like that for many years. It's only, I guess, somewhat recently that somebody can make a game that is fully loadable, or has streaming loading more than likely, which allows for you to wander around in a giant world like this without seeing a lot of loading sections. We have seen some loading sections, just little instants of loading off the SSD. Yeah. That's another thing I wish was a little bit more improved, is that there are definitely some games that are not programmed quite right, and so even your best efforts to improve things as far as making them load or having SSD hard drives won't help. Some games are just hard programmed to take a certain amount of time in between each load, and they're hard programmed to load even if it's potentially not actually necessary. The good news is most games now are pretty future-proofed, so that they won't do something that's unnecessary. But then technology can also only go so far. And it's not just loading off the hard drives that causes games to be slow to load. It could also be loading and filling up video card RAM, which, ironically, if video card RAM is bigger and you're going to use more of it with higher video settings, you can actually slow down the loading by demanding higher graphics. barely even looking at the screen there for just mindlessly butt mashing. Right. Interesting, when you fall, if you're in the frozen mode, you fall to your level of safety, which means you can kind of just avoid fighting those guys completely. As my soul's back, a quick jump to 22,000. Interesting. Oh my goodness, really? How did that happen? Color me confused and also uncertain as to which way to go. Like, we've just got to make a mad dash here. I'm going to try and implement as much speedrun tech as possibly I can muster. As somebody who's not a speedrun runner. Yeah, I don't know if I just took a bunch of damage there, or if perhaps you actually have to be in lava mode and you just die maybe a little bit slower when you're a hollow, or maybe I was just taking damage every time I wasn't in the fire hollow mode, and it just takes a little bit longer for it to kill you. I think you gotta fight these guys. I don't think you can just ignore them. Right, which way was it? It really isn't a game designed around the idea of avoiding conflict. Like, as an action RPG game, that really doesn't make any sense that it would be designed around conflict. I'm gonna go into fire mode here. We're gonna come down here, lock on one guy, take him out fairly quickly, try and dash towards the next guy, take him out fairly quickly. In that process, we did get our souls back. My hope here is that this lets me walk on that, but it doesn't seem like it does. And if anything, it seems like that may have actually hurt me. It did. Okay. Good to know. So, gentle reminder, or not so gentle reminder, that you have to walk in flame as the flame mode. That makes a lot of sense. And then I can only assume that there is a very specific spot here where you're supposed to be able to get up here and jump and climb up. Standing still doesn't seem to do it. would there be another thought? Like, is this just a monster closet, possibly? Like, there's no purple walls or anything. If I was to try and hover from one point to another, I could probably make that, but I might also die. It seems weird that there would be something there, though. Like, a jump alone would not make that. But a hover, if we just did this, would make that.
How are you feeling, mistress?
There is much to process. I've had to abandon so much in order to move forward. It feels like a loss. And at the same time, I've changed.
Changed how?
I do not know.
Yeah, and we are back into the hollow section now. Interesting. So I guess I was right that we were just going to come from a different direction. Which just oddly connects the hollows section to Earth. But there's an idea there, I guess, that any real realm of heaven or hell isn't even going to be shown because there's just so many demons that have turned Earth into hell, or realms of hell have always existed on this Earth in this storyline, and that they have always just been secretly buried just beneath the surface. Alright. I know we're going late today, but there is reason to do some shopping here and celebrate. So, we need probably 12 slivers of adamantium. We have 5, so we need to buy 7. We need to go ahead and just crack all of this. And we'll buy the other armor from him.
Tales of brave fury have reached Targon's ears. He desires an audience.
That's the Crucible.
Then go perform for him. You're entertaining, in a lowbrow sort of way.
But I'm not the mightiest horseman in all the realm, you fiery flatterer.
No, just telling you straight up, there's another Crucible thing now available.
These invaders like a plague. Nothing will stand in your way.
Including you.
Almost certainly all of the players would get both of these cutscenes back to back.
Opened a new entryway. You'd be wise to explore it for both our sakes. What would you ask of this? Take your time.
So yeah, I might benefit from another Undying fragment, probably. But I should double check first. Alright. 2, 3 of those. Notice how the timing seems a little off when you're holding the buy button, which is really no reason to hold A to buy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Stasis Hollow is 40,000. Armor. It's getting more expensive.
couldn't resist.
And we'll have to decide whether we need any
As you
other
wish.
fragments of
Please
adamantium
take your time.
later. These upgrades are not impactful enough, though. It really is just playing with a spreadsheet, changing the numbers on your weapons. It's just keeping me above the curve
It's good to see you, horseman.
of probably a very balanced experience. They've moved them over here now.
How can my hammer be of service?
I didn't get an upgrade for saving more people. Yeah, piece of adamantium to get to 9 will do. Now we need chunks of adamantium to get to 10. And I haven't even seen a chunk of adamantium. Sliver of adamantiums to get up to 3. So everything's up to 3. And I guess that means turning salvation up to 7 with a piece of adamantium makes sense. And now it's really a question about, do I want to upgrade anything as far as fragments of adamantium? Probably, so we're gonna need a lot of those. And then,
let's see what I can do for you.
do we finally have enough to get a balanced chaos? Yes. This will increase our havoc form duration and damage from weapons being rewarded as health.
What beautiful.
You don't get an achievement for upgrading that. Do we have enough here? I need an essence of a chosen to get a balanced juggernaut, which I don't know if that means I should spend anything else. No, I'm just out of angelic artifacts, and we could look at demonic and could upgrade this demonic fortifier, but I don't think I really want to. And then I could potentially pick something here and go demonic on the angelic Azazel. Wait a minute. Do I have 2 Azazels? No, just 1. It would be weird to get 2 of the same things. Wrath generated per weapon hit. Like, angelic is really what I want here. For this one. Increased potency with certain consumables or lurchers when you kill an enemy with this weapon.
Didn't think it was possible, but now some of my best work.
So
It was possible, but now you're even deadlier.
we need to put balanced fortune at this point up instead of Leviathan, because Leviathan's gonna give you a 5% return on lurchers, whereas killing enemies will give you 40% while killing lurchers. I'd like to be able to use both, but moving that around is going to be difficult.
Interesting. Good luck to you, Fury.
Okay. Unsocket this one, and then unsocket this one, Then socket this one. And then Edge of Scorn or Salvation. What is Salvation's item? Yeah, Salvation's item's not particularly much of anything. Yeah, there's not really another weapon that you're gonna use a lot of. Your best bet would be either to maybe change this one. Yeah, we're just moving everything around, I guess. Bounce Leviathan on that weapon, and then physical damage reduction on that. And do we have some other things we can equip? One, but we need one more enhancement. Also, well, or we can move things around, certainly. Yep. Yeah, and we're just going super long today. Just a lot of shopping, a lot of upgrading, a lot of wasting time.
What would you ask? Take your time.
Still not really gonna have. I'm just gonna buy as much of these as we can.
An excellent choice. As you wish.
You're really not gonna have enough souls to upgrade everything to a higher level that you would like it to be. It all just seems really stupid, frankly, doing all these upgrades. I half wonder if you couldn't just completely ignore it and never upgrade anything, and you would just have about the same experience. Axe of Scorn. Or are we at the edge of Scorn? We might as well just try and level up everything.
All right, let's see what I can do for you.
I kind of wish the balance, once something becomes balanced, it should be at the bottom of the list, because you're not able to upgrade it any further. Right. And I guess we're going to the void. So let's
take your time.
Now I don't even want to do the void quite yet. I want to check the molten cave a little bit more. But it probably is smart to just do the void and be done with it.
What would you ask of me? Please,
so let's
take
just
your time.
Head back to the void. We're not likely to get another transition thing. So finishing the void will be our first desire, and then running around the void, potentially getting other collectibles, we'll leave for a later time. Just because, who knows, we may at some point get an upgrade to our radar that starts to point towards collectibles and make it 100% certain whether or not we are we're getting everything we need and not missing anything. Let's see, 450 is still really the maximum on the hill, so going up even one is probably not worth it. So we'll put the 2 levels that we did get to 94%. It does kind of seem like you may be getting such a diminished return on strength and physical strength that level 25 gets you to 100, and it does just max you out at that point. Doubling your damage sure doesn't feel like it's really doing anything as much as you would want to. And I still feel like this might summon your horse, a new horse, for you. There's nothing more to do here. I could again sell shards if I wanted to, and if the menu didn't crash. And we just need more demonic artifacts and more angelic artifacts. The stasis armor here is just 15% stasis arcane damage plus 5% physical damage reduction plus 5% lurchers when shattering crystals, which is the exact same armor we have seen for each of the hollows. Maybe finishing the void will give us another armor that's a little bit better, because that's really what we need, is something higher than 5% physical damage reduction. And as far as weapons go, we have only one left to unlock in the void. We're in a weird position, I have to say, though, where it feels like we've made a decent amount of progress. I'd have to really count to even try and figure out how many of the 7 deadly sins we've defeated now. We did greed, and maybe we defeated wrath, maybe we didn't. So that would be 2, but I think it's just 1. And then, so 1, then sloth would be 2, then pride would be 3, and gluttony would be 4. So we've seen 5, and I think defeated 4 of the 7 deadly sins. We've seen wrath, and we've only heard talk of envy. It wouldn't be super surprising if the Lord of the Hollows is actually envy, and that would be the big twist. But it kind of feels like there should be a bigger twist. Looking at the number of achievements we've done, it does feel like we could be at the halfway point of the game, or we could be like really close to the end of the game, and they may just want you to potentially play the game a lot more to get all the achievements. Anyways, we're already going very long here, so I'm going to end this recording here. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.